group, if you could look on your phone. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Rockwood, and I am here with three amazing BodyMind coaches who are going to share the real deal and the nitty-gritty behind the scenes, behind their life before BodyMind Coaching, during BodyMind Coaching, and now after. And we are in all different stages, from just less than, I think, 6 months to a year after BodyMind Coaching to several years after joining the program. Again, my name is Michelle Rockwood. I'm the co-founder of BodyMind Sales, where we help non-salesy people sell their heart-centered coaching programs with love, ease, and joy. I'm also a mentor coach in the BodyMind Coaching certification program. I'm joined today by Jen Taylor, Lori Juskowitz, did I say it right? And Abby Avalenta. And I know I said those names wrong too, but very warm welcome to all of you. And if you would unmute yourself, starting with you, Jen, and just give a little bit of a hello and where you are in the world right now.
Yeah, my name is Jen Taylor. I am in Palm Coast, Florida. Sunny
Awesome.
Florida.
Nice and humid.
Yeah.
Lori, give us a little intro to you.
I'm Lori Juskowitz, and I live in Buffalo, New York, which is halfway between New York City and halfway between Albany. So I'm smack dab in the middle.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, I'm Abby Valletta, and I'm in Chester, Connecticut.
Nice. Welcome, Abby. Thank you so much. So, as you know, if you've been following us or if you've just joining the BodyMind Coaching world for the first time, at BodyMind Coaching, we coach you, and then we teach you how to coach. And then we teach you how to integrate coaching into your work, whether that's Reiki or massage, or maybe you're even an esthetician. And sometimes you don't even have, a modality that you're integrating it to. Maybe it's just standalone coaching. So it's all different. But oftentimes people in our community are holistic practitioners. For me, I'm a Baptiste trained yoga teacher, and that's kind of where my embodiment practice comes from. And my hands-on work was yoga before I came to BodyMind Coaching. Now I just do coaching all by itself. Jen, can we start with you? Will you share with us how you found and got into this coaching thing in the first place, and what you were doing prior to coming into the BodyMind Coaching program?
Yeah, definitely. Before BodyMind, I was a massage therapist since 2006 and also a Reiki practitioner. And I was just scrolling on Facebook, and I found some videos of Laura, and she kept popping up. And I was searching for something, but I didn't know what it was because I was really burnt out after doing massage for so long. I loved my clients. I loved the work, but my body didn't love it anymore. I was in a lot of pain, really overwhelmed. And I knew I could help my clients on a deeper level. I just didn't know what it was.
So I find that really, really interesting because I sought out coaching. I was like, I love coaching. I've had this coaching experience, but for so many of the folks coming through BodyMind Coaching, am I right? Like, you weren't actually looking to you weren't like, I want to be a coach.
No. I found out in the program that I had already been naturally coaching my clients. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Can you say more about that? What does that mean?
That was, really loving on them and pouring into them. We're all compassionate, holistic workers. We spend a lot of time before and after the session and just, giving tips and just like pouring everything we got out on our clients. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. When like you are such a natural coach, right? So we love working with massage therapists, holistic practitioners, because they're amazing coaches and don't even know it yet, right? And so it just comes like really, really naturally to you. Okay, so what year was this that you were scrolling through Facebook?
2019. I joined September 2019. So it's been a little bit.
2019. And
Mhm.
okay, so you see Laura, or you saw,
Yep. Mhm. I
and
saw
you're like,
her. I
what the heck is
saw
this
some
woman doing?
videos. Yeah. And I'm like, I like her energy. I just really like her. And every single thing she said, every question she asked, it was like, do you love massage, but you're burnt out? Do you spend a lot of extra time with your clients? Are you giving them suggestions, but they're not following through? And I'm like, yeah, like everything. So then I watched a webinar, and then I got on a call with you, and I'm like, I'm doing it. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Lori, will you tell us like how, were you scrolling Facebook? Was everybody scrolling Facebook? How they found Laura? Like what were you doing when Body Mind came into your life?
Yeah, so it's so funny. Yes, I was scrolling on Facebook, right? Literally how I found Laura. And like Jen said, like she just kept popping up and kept popping up. And
Mm.
at the time in my business, so I had graduated from massage school, second in my class, 2014, right? Like I was all gung-ho, total medical massage. I didn't even know about the energetics of massage, right? Like all insertion and points, but something was missing in like I was amazing. My clients were amazing. Like everybody was great. But like Jen was referring to, like just week after week, month after month, depending on the client, I was like, what is going on that these results aren't sticking? And they would say like, well, I made it 10
Mm.
days. I made it 10 days. And we were like, whoop, whoop. And we were like, okay, how do we get it to 14? How do we get it to 15? But it seemed like that was the point where they just lost that flow and momentum for themselves. And so they would go back to the old habits, and they'd come back in the next month and like, oh, I started out really well, but I just kind of petered out and lost my oomph behind it. So when I was, scrolling, it wasn't that I was looking to be a coach. I had no idea that was going to be a thing I was going to be adding. No idea. Didn't know I was already a natural coach, and like trying to like help my clients like really bridge that time between sessions. And it was this feeling of I was totally unfulfilled. That was the feeling that I was trying to get, and just 100% unfulfilled and exhausted. But I loved what I did. So I was in this tug of war back and forth. That's literally where I was.
I have a question for you, and I don't mean this to seem rude at all, but
Mhm.
why do you care that your clients got results? Why do you
Yeah.
care, that if somebody wanted to lose weight, they stuck to it?
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that makes us different. Like why did you care?
Yeah, because that's why I got into massage therapy, right? Like I wanted to help people get out of pain. I wanted to help them. I know when they were out of pain that they'd be more patient. They would be having that freed up space to do other things, to not be sitting in a doctor's office, waiting for like another consultation, or I don't know. It was just like it was like a personal thing that it was so important to me that I wanted them to have results. I knew what it was to be pain-free. I knew what it was
Mm.
when I had been in a car accident and for 2.5 years was not pain-free, but got to that point.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, people have to, I know how it interfered with my daily life, medications. And it was really important to me to help them.
I love it. I mean, it's this common thread throughout. I actually want to help people.
Yeah.
Like that's why I got into this. And what I'm doing is helpful, but it's not actually, it's helpful for a short period of time, for that hour, right? And then they go out to their car and you can already see like their shoulders go up to their ears, or it's this temporary thing. And what we're doing here, and we'll talk a little bit more about the work that you're doing now, and how that actually helps people, like not just while you're together, but the next day and the next day and the next day, and their kids, and the ripple effect of that. So awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Lori. Abby, how about you? Tell me, anybody not on Facebook, how did you find Laura?
Nope, I found her on Facebook as well. I think at the point when I found Laura, it was February of 2020. And like I'm a massage therapist by trade. Things had been really, I don't know, like they just were stale in my massage practice. I couldn't have put a word on it at the time, but like things just didn't feel good, and it felt stale, and it felt like I was constantly in this like battle for clients. Like I was really good at what I did. So people would come in and then they'd be like, oh, I feel better. And then I'd be like on the hunt for new clients again. And like, I couldn't seem to get out of that. And I was taking like the max amount physically that I could see a week. You know, my arms were hurting, my hands were hurting, my back was hurting. And I just like, it wasn't enough money really. Like it was good, but it wasn't like great. And I didn't even really know like what needed to happen. But I remember thinking just like, maybe I'll teach more yoga. Like maybe I'll like just take a break from some of it. And then, yeah, found Laura, somehow popped on my Facebook. I got into her Facebook community and did all of her free, like everything free I could get my hands on, every video that she did, the boot camp, the webinar, and then got in a call with you, Michelle, and then signed up like a day later. Yeah. So it was, I bet from the time I saw her ad to the day I signed up was like four days.
Really? And
it was, I signed up like, yeah. And I think I signed up like the program was about to start like the next week. Like I had signed up right at the last moment. I kind of got in, and then thank God I did, because it was the end of February 2020, and 2 weeks later I had to close my massage practice.
Wow. Wow. So you also were not looking for a coaching program per se. You just knew you had this business and it didn't feel right.
I kicked the idea around. I'd looked at like IIN years ago, more when I was like a personal trainer, but not really, like not since I'd gotten into massage. I hadn't been like, and then like Jen said, once I started doing it, I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this. Like, and I work with business owners, and a lot of my clients, even in massage, would talk to me for like work and life advice, and bartending, they would do it, and personal training, they would do it. And I'm like, wait, I've been doing this.
So it resonated, the fact that you were actually coaching and communicating. And I just got off a coaching call actually with an amazing BodyMind coach. And I asked her why her clients came to her massage clients, right? And she didn't once mention the massage. You know, it was all of these other things. So like, okay, you're ready to charge for all the reasons why your clients already come to you. Awesome. Okay. So let's keep going here. We're scrolling through Facebook. We know we love what we do. We love this intimacy with our clients. There's this woman named Laura Wick, and we're like, what the heck is this? Right? Yes to what she's saying about all the struggles, right? And okay, what is she doing? What does this look like? So something in your heart calls you to jump on a call, right? You jump on a call with the team, you say yes, you join the BodyMind Coaching certification program. Talk to me about that. And like, there's ups and downs, right? All throughout. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, right? There's struggles, and we learn to love the struggles. So eventually it does become rainbows and butterflies, I have to say. But Jen, can you talk me through, like, do you remember what it was like when you first joined, and that feelings of, oh my gosh, what is this? Or were you, walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah. Sheer terror.
Really?
In the beginning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, because it was the unknown, and just taking this really big step into something that was it looked so different from the outside, you know, like from massage and Reiki and what I had been doing for over a decade. And I'm like, wait a minute, am I supposed to be doing this? Even though my heart was like, yes, do it. So a lot of fear, a lot of terror in the beginning. But then once I got in and just saw the amazing community of like-minded practitioners, like I'd never felt that support before from the team, from Laura, from all the other people in the group. That started to really like ground me down, like, okay. But definitely the work, like, you know, we get coached. So all the inner work that I did was unreal. Like I didn't know I had so much work to do. I had thought I had been doing it already. And, you know, when I went through the modules and all the different trainings, I was like, holy crap, like I've got some more to do and dive in. And a complete transformation happened over those 9 months and continue to happen. And it was a lot of ups and downs, you know, like we call them contractions, where we're like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? I feel so stuck. And then there's a surrender and a beautiful breakthrough, right? Like, so it is a lot of ebb and flow, ups and downs, a roller coaster of emotions, but hands down the best decision I've ever made, personally, professionally, definitely. Oh, you're muted, Michelle.
Navigating those roller coasters of emotions and almost like knowing that they're going to come, you know, and having this expectation, it's like, yes, we're like still mucking through the shit, right? But like we're doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's a part of the process. And you start to learn that like, actually that's up leveling you know?
Absolutely.
And so I love that. I also love that you said, trust. And there is, I probably said this when we, there's this trust that you put into our team and to Laura and to the process and to yourself. That is this leap of faith. And I don't take it lightly. I think that it's this really big, responsibility or just love. It's hard to say that, especially for like an online program, to be like, trust me. And I think that's why I really like, you mentioned you get to see other people in the program. And so having you here, even so other people can see where you are now, is really important to me. And that transparency of, where people are now, what they're doing, what it looks like, all different for all different people. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah, there is this level of trust, and there are high highs and low lows, all throughout, but you start to navigate them better. Lori, how about you, Lori? Like when you came in, we have folks take their Kolbe when they first come into the program, and Lori is, tell me where I'm wrong, Lori, a high fact finder?
Yes, I'm a fact finder.
How did your fact finding and that desire to, how did you balance that with trusting in the process and your experience first coming into BodyMind Coaching?
Yeah. So great question. Like, how did I balance being a fact finder and trusting that whole process at the same time? Oh, it was a new thing to learn, right? Of before, for those that aren't familiar with what a fact finder loves to research, loves to dig up all the goodies, all the nuggets, all the wisdom, and like in research, right? And really dive in. Like when I first found Laura on Facebook, it was November of 2016. I didn't sign up with her until January of 2017. So there was like some time there for me to process, right? So, but the thing was, it was a feeling. I was starting to learn how to use my feeling, how something felt to allow me to like release more and more, and how to actually take that fact finding and researching and put it into action and just be like, I'm going to do this. Let's just see what happens. And just to have fun, like to be able to inject that fun, that adventure, like which turns out were some of my values. So I got to use my values and my fact finder together to like then release and go into that trust. And then the community, to be able to lean on the community and to have them to support you, which again, support, another one of my values. You were going to find your values in this program. And it's like, this is the thing of, I had support. I had people that were doing the fun, scary, adventurous shit with me, right? And they're like, oh, and the encouragement and like, who wants accountability this week? Like, okay, this is a thing, name and claim it. And then in would be that accountability to help you follow through. So that's how I took that fact finder and just researched and had fun and had adventure and just tried things out, and whatever happened, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and it was all good. And it was, again, a little bit of that roller coaster, and it is not all rainbows and butterflies, but you just know it when you feel it and you're like, yes. And that's what keeps pulling you forward.
What was the hardest part as you stepped into the program? What was the hardest part for you?
Good God. Let's see. The hardest part was literally for me, I was so used to people knowing me and my expertise of like what I did, right? And as I was coming into this was newer for me. I didn't really know it. So that was a little bit of the harder part, but going through and having the conversations with people in a way that was empowering them, empowering me, allowing myself to claim and own my value, my worth. Yeah. But again, it's that feeling that comes on the other side, but that was the hardest part. And talking about, like, hey, I got this program. I struggled there, but I did it. And that was that thing. And then once you do it, that's it. You're hooked. But at the beginning, that was the hardest thing.
Absolutely. Once you start doing it, you are hooked. I always describe, we have a BodyMind Live event for 4 days. You can come virtual this year or in person. But after the event, there's no going back is how I describe it to people. Like, you've seen too much and you know that there is a better way. And we always want to go back to our comfort zone. But after the live, like, you've met too many people who are as badass as you, right? And are doing this. And you're like, oh, and then, yeah, you get hooked, and you get hooked on your clients' wins, on your wins. They're intertwined, of course, and you're off to the races. Abby, how about you? When you first came in, I had the honor of working pretty closely with you, Abby. How was it for you, and what was the hardest part when you came into the BodyMind Coaching program?
I would say the hardest part for me, well, I entered the program at a really weird time in the world. So, I'd never made that kind of investment in myself before, or in my business even before. And I was really excited. Like, when I signed up, even though it was like 4 days that I had total to think about it, and my parents were like, that's a lot. Are you right? Are you sure? You better be sure. And I was kind of like, yep, I'm sure, it's there. I'm ready. And then when I had to close my business 2 weeks later, it was this mix of like, thank God I signed up because I can do this thing virtually, but also, oh my God, I have these payments that I just signed up for this huge program and my business is closed, and I had to really learn how to work through my money stuff and like ride the ride. And honestly, I ended up having like the best year of my life. My business has totally transformed. I don't regret a second of it, but it was terrifying in those early days. And it was kind of like, like, I remember being kind of like, oh my gosh, do I stay in this program? Like, I had just joined, and the world is falling apart. And I did. And honestly, I think it was the best thing to have at that time to really kind of keep pushing me forward.
Yeah, it was an interesting time because so many people were trying to get online and, to move their businesses online in any way they could. And we were set up for this. And this is what we have been doing, since the beginning, is integrating online coaching with our hands-on work. Some people do just hands-on coaching and their work, and others do just virtual. But it would, that was accelerated for you, Abby, coming in at that time. We're like, okay, I'm going virtual, right? I'm doing this over Zoom. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Having these conversations with clients, right? People used to have a year to do it. They used to have the whole program to, do it more slowly. And then suddenly it was this kick in the butt, that the universe gave us to step into it right away, which, thank goodness for so many people that they had this resource to step into.
Yeah, I think it was like a little over a month that I took my first client. I was like, all right, time to do this thing. Like, I got no other work I can do. And I even remember, like, I'd never done Zoom before. Like, I called into our call with you. I was saying that to someone the other day. I dialed into our call with you, and now I live on Zoom just a year later.
I know, right? It's so funny.
I'm probably going to have to hop off.
You just dive off, girl. And we're so happy to have you for the time we could, and you go do what you need to do, and have a great weekend. I would love if Jen and Lori, if you could share with me, what is BodyMind Coaching? So, by definition, BodyMind Coaching is Laura's proprietary process where you bring and combine coaching in your hands-on modality to elicit a parasympathetic response in the body to help you step forward into what it is that you desire, right? And we really, this parasympathetic response in the body, whether that's, a deep breath, a meditation, a massage, we really believe that needs to occur in order for you to take your next steps forward. So it's really this body first approach to coaching and to life. BodyMind, the BodyMind method it's lived, right, in each and every moment of every single day. And it's really amplified in our BodyMind coaching sessions. But to Jen, what is, how do you explain the BodyMind coaching method to your clients or to others that ask you?
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me, I would say, I tell them it's about reconnecting with your body. It is this sacred connection with your body that has been lost because we're disconnected from others, but we're really disconnected from ourselves. And, they're familiar with this disconnect because they're distracted, by social media, by electronics, by the busyness and the chaos in their lives. And oftentimes they don't even know what that means to reconnect with their bodies. right? So we start really, really slow, really, really small. But it's such powerful and beautiful work that I can't imagine like living my life without it and not sharing it with other people, because so much valuable intel comes just from slowing down and actually listening to the body's messages, right? Like our body is trying to communicate with us all the time. And so many people are just ignoring it, because it's just not what they're used to. So for me, it's like a reconnection with the body, just really listening to what it has to say. And so much wisdom is gained from that. And you can really make some small steps forward. And when you go back and look over time, it's a beautiful transformation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lori, how about you? Can you describe to us body mind coaching, or how you would explain it to somebody who's new to the community?
Yes. So BodyMind Coaching and the process that you learn for me is like decluttering your brain of all like parking the worry, the stress, the nervousness, the anxiousness, the things that like run through like your schedule, where you have to be. It's pausing, knowing that that's all going to be there safely for you, and then reconnecting back to the present moment, what's happening right now, opening up that space, creating that space for inspiration, ideas, nudges that, like Jen said, like they're there, but you might not be recognizing what they are. But when you quiet the mind, allow yourself that pause, it's like, oh, there's that idea, there's an inspiration, there's this feeling, there's a spark that gets lit, and guiding you to your next steps. That's how I describe it.
Why is this important? Why? Like, why do this?
So for me, this is why it's so important, is that so our brain, our big, beautiful brains, like we love them. They're so great, right? They are this amazing resource that keeps us alive and keeps us breathing, our heart beating and distributing, all of the hormones where they need to go, our immune system, like it's beautiful. The brain does so much. And there's a second part of the conversation that's happening that we're not hearing. So imagine like if you're just listening to one person's side of the story, but you're not getting the other side, right? It's very one-sided. Yeah. So when you bring the body in, you're actually getting both sides and bringing them together. That's why it's important to really listen and get both sides of the story.
I love that. That's cool. That's so cool. Jen, why is it important to you? Why do you care?
I love that, Lori, what you said, both sides of the story. I care because I work with all women, but I see people, men and women, not living the life that they know they want to live. And I see constant stress and anxiety and struggle. And I see people saying, is this it? Like in life, like, is this it? Right. And I see people on autopilot and just going through the motions in life, and they know they're made for more. They know there's something else, but they just don't know how to access it, and they kind of just settle. And that just breaks my heart, because I know there's a different way.
So, I mean, overall, like both of these, it's about living a happier life, right? It's just about happiness. It's about joy. It's about connection. It's about fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. And ease. A life with more ease.
Yeah, like it just doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be this hard that, these relationships, you don't have to struggle this much. This job, it doesn't have to be this painful. Parenting, like there's tools and there's skills and there's ways of thinking and living, and that connection to the body is that first step. I almost feel like our body is this lie detector. And so often our heads are like, oh no, this relationship is fine. It checks these boxes. No, this job is fine. It checks these boxes. And when you learn to tune into your body and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm loving it. Like, this is awesome, but you're really miserable. When you learn to tune into your body, it's hard at first. And a lot of us, like when you first come into BodyMind Coaching, you'll struggle maybe in your relationships or in your jobs or even in parenting, because you're having this like come to Jesus kind of moment, where you're like, oh God, my body is like, I'm listening to it all the time. And I hate volunteering at the kids' school. You know what? Like, I don't want to pack lunches ever again. For me, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, oh my God, I thought that's what I wanted, you know? And so there's these things that you have, these moments where like, oh my God, my body actually isn't enjoying this conversation. I'm going to back away slowly, you know? And so you start to live your life completely different with this lie detector. But then there's this freedom. I remember like be a freedom to be yourself, to say like, no, I don't want to volunteer. Like, you know, I want to dress this way or I want to work this way. And you just like want to hug everybody, like, you know, or like you just start to live your life differently. I remember once like trying to hug the UPS guy and like, he's like, oh my God, get away from me, you know, because you're just live this life happier. And that is such a gift. Like I want to give people through my coaching is to live like less stressful, happier, more fulfilled lives where they tune into their lie detector, their body. Again, we're tuned in as kids. My kids, like they tell you if the food stinks, they tell you if they don't like the people, you know, if they're uncomfortable in the event, like they let you know. And so you almost tune back into that child, like, yes, no, you know, that way of being. So cool. So you two, can you share with me now, like, okay, how far past BodyMind Coaching, how far out of the program are you? And what does life look like for you today in terms of your business and your happiness, really?
So I'm almost in September, it'll be 2 years from the beginning. Well, I started at September 2019 and then it was 9 months and whatever that is. I can't do the math, but it's been a little while. My happiness level has increased substantially. I have a lot more ease in my life. I was actually able to move to Florida because of BodyMind Coaching. I was able to have the courage to close my massage business and bring coaching full-time virtually. So that was my dream, you know, to be hands-off and still make an impact. It's actually a much bigger impact now in women's lives and move close to the beach. That was always my dream. So I was able to do that. So yes, I'm much happier. And I work with women, you know, who are on that autopilot, who just feel really unfulfilled and it's kind of blah, you know, they're just like going through the motions. And, you know, I do just that with the body mind coaching, help them reconnect with their body, really listen to their intuition, you know, because we all have it. We all have all of our answers actually are within us. So I teach them to stop looking all around outside of themselves for the answers because they have all the answers. So that in turn boosts their confidence and, you know, their overall well-being, and they can just move forward in this confident, intentional way.
And you work all virtual.
All
Is that
virtual.
correct? All virtual, over
Mm-hmm.
Zoom. And typically, do you work for 3 months with people, 6 months? What do your programs of support look like?
I prefer 6 months because, you know, we're unwiring and rewiring decades of old beliefs and patterns and habits. And it's new learning to reconnect with your body. You know, sometimes even sitting for 1 or 2 minutes with themselves is like really new and different. They're like, okay, what do I do? Just sit here. You know, like people aren't used to slowing down. It's uncomfortable and so new. So it takes a little bit of time. So I love 6 months.
Jen, is there a win? And if you need a second to think about this, that a client of yours has received that you were like, oh, hell, like that was so cool?
Well, oh my gosh, there's so many, but one really recent one, I worked with this particular client for a year. So she did 6 months and then wanted another 6 months of support. And in the very beginning of working with her, she told me she hated her job and she just was really unfulfilled, really feeling out of place there. Like she wasn't feeling heard. And she said, I'm not quite ready to make any changes. And I said, okay, that's fine. But we worked on lots of other stuff, right? Like figuring out her values and learning to set boundaries, really working on increasing her confidence. And by about like month 7, she's like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to just get rid of this job. Let's brainstorm new ideas together. Let's feel into different options. You know, so I guided her through her intuition, like what would be best. And now she's got a great job that she loves. So that's like a huge win.
Whoa. Whoa. That's so neat. It's what's neat about that too, is like she needed to go through the body mind coaching process and you brought her through that. And then she was like, okay, now I'm ready. Right. So it builds that confidence. So you can trust your intuition and listen to, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, cool. Congratulations, Jen. That's so cool.
Thank you.
How about you, Lori? Same question. You're muted.
No, I'm muted. Okay. What's the biggest win, right? That a client has had up to this point?
Yeah.
Or?
And what does your business look like now? What does your business look like now?
So, oh my gosh. So much. So I would describe my business as just absolutely spacious and financially abundant. And like you mentioned earlier, I thought that was going to be like a stay-at-home mom. Like that was like my thing until like I got that feeling of something was missing. So active massage, I went to school, became a massage therapist, right? And all the things, and never thought I'd want anything different. And then I implemented the coaching. I had 4 locations, closed all my massage down within, oh gosh, it was a gradual process over the time. I started with Laura in 2017, graduated later that year. And so now we're in 2021. So it was a gradual process, shut down, left all of the places I was working, all the locations. I coach only virtually online. That is it. Love the 6-month program for our clients. And as well, it's really, because we are, like Jen said, like we're like deconstructing and reconstructing, and it's amazing. And I have so much freedom. Can I just tell you, like my business, when I love all my clients, like I love my peeps, right? All my people, I love them. My massage clients, but I always felt like I was in this closed in space, right? One of my values is nature. Like, dude, how can you be honoring your value, Lori, of nature if you're inside your massage studio all day long, right? So now, like I just got out of my pool right before coming on this interview. I get to go sit in my pool. And I can go do that for like an hour, 2 hours, however long I want. I have the freedom to schedule my clients whenever I want. And so, yeah. And you know what? And the big thing was, I'd always been told like, oh, your income will always be supplemental. Like, growing up as a kid, like you'll just have like this small income and like, you'll just help out with small bills. I make more than my husband and he loves it. And so do I. So it's just, oh, like, I don't, you probably tell with a smile on my face of just how it feels. And BodyMind Coaching and Laura just taught me everything. And it's the best button I ever pressed, literally.
Oh.
It clicked and said yes. And my biggest client win, and I never saw this one coming. I just happened to reach out to her one day and say like, how are you? Like about 3 months after she completed her container. And she was like, oh, hi, I'm out of town with my husband, like reconnecting, like our relationship just like took off. I gotta go. And I'm just like, it was so great because that was one of the things that she wanted to work on. And so, yeah, and just checking in, she was just like, out of town, gotta go. I'm like, okay, great. And she was like, obviously thanking me and all the things, because that was what BodyMind Coaching gave back to her. Was her wonderful, amazing, like she thought it was lost. Anyway, so yeah.
That's not to call that a job, right? Like what? It's why like we call each wave a wave, and like we're this ripple effect on the planet, and the lives that we touch with our work impact another life, impact a family, impact a child. And it's really humbling. And so, you'll always see us like crying all over the place because it matters. Like we thought we didn't know we were capable of having such a profound impact on other people's lives until we found Laura. And we're grateful for that. Right. And the BodyMind Coaching program now has grown so much, and there's just so much support and love to help you step into that. And like, yeah, we're always like a crying mess because the work we do is impactful, is financially rewarding, it's just so dang cool. and those wins that our clients get. I don't know about the two of you. Are you ever like, sometimes I'm always like, oh, they're like recently client like moved houses, her kids' schools, a job. I was like, oh, okay. Are you, you know what I mean? Like she felt like she's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay. Like, do you ever get that where you're like, oh, okay. Like it was just way bigger than you could have ever pictured. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. The results that each person gets, like they go in for one thing, they get that and like all of this other on top of it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also too like the smallest win where they said no to something. They were for the first time like, no, I'm not going to volunteer. I'm not actually interested in losing weight. Everybody thinks I want to lose weight. That's not actually, or like, just this like little tiny shift that added this happiness and joy to their life is a really big deal. Well, cool. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we could talk about BodyMind Coaching and the work we do all day long because we love it so much. Jen, could you share with everyone where they can find you and how they can connect with you personally?
Sure. The best place would be my website. It's just jennifertaylor.blog.
jennifertaylor.blog.
.blog, yep. Mm-hmm.
.blog. Okay. And I'll put it in the comments below as well.
Thank you.
And how about for you, Lori? Where can people find you?
Sure. At my website, it's harmonybalanceflow.com.
harmonybalanceflow.com.
You got it.
And Jen, I'm already forgetting yours. Say it one more time.
jennifertaylor.blog.
jennifertaylor.blog. And we'll put both in the comments below. And anything else, any parting words you have to say to anybody who's new to our community, who's getting ready for boot camp, who's just joined? Any parting words from either of you, Jen or Lori?
I would just say, as you're going through, in this community, in the boot camp, just watching all the goodness that BodyMind is, listen to your body more than your head. That would be my advice.
Absolutely. And oftentimes, like what it feels like, and I know we've had other members describe it, is like you're like super excited and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And you're terrified at the exact same time is a really good indicator. Like it literally, we actually even have a word in BodyMind Coaching. It's terrific excited because we just smacked them together because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're so excited and you're shitting yourself at the exact same time. So, and, but it's amazing. And anyone going through like boot camp, just like Jen said, just really listen, bring both sides of the conversation to the boot camp, to what you're experiencing, and really feel for those nudges, feel for if it's something that may or may not support you either way. But yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.